Hey everyone. All right, new readings this week. So I wanted to ask, where are you on your spiritual journey? So I pulled 3 cards today. I'm using my Biddy Tarot deck if anyone's interested. The first card that you pulled is the High Priestess. This tells me, where are you in your journey? You are almost where I am at. Everybody's in a different place in their journey. You may have just started, or like me, you could be 2 years into it. Different people reach different levels at different times. So what I want to say with that, the High Priestess has secrets. She knows things. I always take this as I'm the High Priestess, and this may be where you are finally coming to a place where you are recognizing your claircognizance. We have all the clairs. We don't use them all. I mean, some people do, some people don't. Some of us, for me, instance, I can do clairaudience. I hear things. I do some clairvoyance, but my claircognizance has really increased within these last 2 years. And now I just know things. And that is what the High Priestess is all about. She knows things. And it's like, what else is going on here? So not only do you start knowing things about the people, the places, the things that you do in your life, you just have a knowing about things. And sometimes you have a knowing out ahead of everything. So it's really interesting, when you get to that awareness and you're like, whoa, how did I know that? You're good at picking up at things. You're good at reading people. And the second card we have is the Four of Wands. Sorry if you hear any background noise. The security cameras are, apparently the sound is up on them. So you may hear something weird go by, car noises. The Four of Wands talks to me, about, in this case, the spiritual journey. You're finally stabilizing. And what I mean by that is everything is evening out, if I can use my words, but it takes a while. Once in a while, when you get on these journeys, at first it can be very chaotic. It can be very scary. For some people, it can be confusing. You have all these things. You start picking up on things. You may have had this your whole life. I mean, some people gradually it happens, and some people are born with it, and they just naturally develop it. There's different types. Like I said, where everybody is different. We have similarities, and I think that we all have something unique to us. It's my belief that we approach things and we pick up things with our senses differently. So the High Priestess is obviously your claircognizance is growing, but your journey is starting to even out. Maybe it's not so bumpy. There's not as many obstacles to overcome. You're not having to climb so many mountains. With that Four of Wands, it's just things are starting to balance out, which is great. You're becoming more comfortable in your own skin, comfortable with your own abilities as a psychic. As we all are. Not everybody chooses this path. Some people choose to ignore it, or not to acknowledge it, or not to believe in it. But if you're watching this right now, you're right there with me. So let me look and see what's next here. Try not to get too far off on a soapbox, but then we have the Chariot. I love this. This is forward progress for you. Everybody's different. I mean, if you notice and I'll pull it back up, but in this image, yeah, you notice it's just stopped, Sometimes we take a pause, and I can relate to this personally, as I've been doing this for almost 2.5 years now, so 2.5 years of doing tarot, and he's looking to the past. So sometimes we stop. You ever heard the term, stop and smell the roses? I say it a lot in my videos, it's because I get the image of it. And that's just taking in, stopping, that pause where you stop and you just suddenly notice the sun on your skin, the warmth of it, the breeze through your hair. You can smell things, in the wind. You can feel the temperature and hear the birds chirping. You become very acutely aware of everything sensory. And sometimes you stop and you look at your past and go, wow, look how far I've come. So this is telling you that you've come a long way, and that High Priestess, you're developing more and more. I don't believe we ever stop learning when it comes to how far we can push our bodies and our minds, our spirits. I do think that we can do so much more than we realize we can as humans. So you have that knowing, and as you're going to start kind of startling yourself as you realize how much more you are aware of things. You may start finishing people's sentences. The High Priestess just knows things, and sometimes you pick up on people's thoughts too. There's a lot of telepathy going on in here. The wands, that talks about fire. So I think that you have a very natural gut instinct. You're a creative person, and you know things. You're knowing things more than you would. 2 years ago, you probably would have been like, I didn't know anything. Now you know a lot more. And part of it could be education and learning. You may have picked up a book on the metaphysical, or you could be going to meetup groups, but you're learning about a lot of things. I was trying to keep this to 5 minutes and I'm already over. So that's okay. That's all right. Because I've only got 2 more. I pulled a couple of Oracle. I'm trying to keep these a little bit more short and sweet if possible. But I'm a talker, so sorry guys. But you're making a lot of progress. So it's nice to see that you are growing in your abilities, you're balancing out, and the Chariot is taking you forward. So there is so much more to learn and so much more growth ahead of you. That's a really great reading for those of you on your spiritual journey right now. It's also personal growth for a lot of you as well. I think they go hand in hand. Let's see. Advice and guidance. I pulled 2 oracles. One is the Halloween oracle, since we are in the month of October. We have Graveyard, unnecessary fear. I just want to hold that up for you. Yeah, it's a little bit shiny. Okay, so basically it's just a graveyard, but unnecessary fear. And you notice, yeah, I gotta point this out, there's a moon right in here. The moon for me, when I see it in cards, is all about intuition. It can be a full moon or half crescent. It means different things for me personally. But when I see the moon in this card, you've got a full moon lighting up. You've got to push through those fears, those doubts, those things that you're like, I'm not so sure about this. Because that full moon is your intuition telling you that you need to push forward. Sometimes the unknown can be a little scary, especially when we start picking up more. We're growing our abilities, and sometimes you might see things, hear things, you might be dreaming about things and it will wake you straight up out of sleep, and you'll be like, whoa, what was that? I'm a paranormal investigator. I always still jump when I feel something touch me, or if I hear something that's close by, it's like, ooh, you just get that feeling. Like, it's something that is not normal, that we would normally experience. So definitely on that, there is unnecessary fear there. Don't fear. It's easier said than done, but try to push through it. One day I woke up, and when you realize that you are divinely protected, when you don't need protections necessarily, not everybody will agree with me. Some people believe you have to have it. I don't necessarily believe you do. I think in my case, I haven't had to worry about it, but it's unnecessary fear. Fear is what attracts the scary things. So once you eradicate it, like, oh, this is pretty cool, then you don't really have to worry about that as much. And if something does occur, you can get rid of it. And we could try to cover some of that too, if you want. I can share what works for me sometime. But lastly, I pulled one of my Feathered Omens cards. It's birds. You got the cuckoo. New fate and path direction. So for some of you, this could be a shift. This might be the shift where you're starting to become more aware, and you're going to start becoming, even more aware of when you feel those energy shifts and things start to change. So your direction, you may have come to a fork in the road. You may be feeling your soul pulled in a new direction. So pay attention to what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Listen to that gut instinct, that intuition. Always follow it. Try to leave the fear behind and bravely go forward. That is my best advice for you. Please leave me any comments, questions, concerns, anything. All right, until next time, guys. Bye.